podcast party. Descent into Avernus.
My name is Renascence. My friends and I have made it down to the Catacombs under Hahlo Cathedral. We reached a barricade in the crypts, so we hope we finally found the survivors of Elturel that we've been searching for.
More of you. I don't know how much more we can take. Is he? No, he's not. Oh. And she looks down at the ground, and she says, I thought he would have come back with you. That's fine. Let them in. And you hear this enormous shrieking of metal and wood as several different people shove their weight against the barricade and open it as it pivots, allowing you entrance to this room. You see before you a quite cavernous but beautiful space. You see that there are dozens of people in this room as you enter it. Some of them are wounded, some of them are just frightened out of their mind. Some of them are clustered in little groups, perhaps families, you're not quite sure. And the woman who seems to have uttered forth this welcome stands before you with several guards around her. These guards do not have swords, they instead have just mere spears, but they wear the vestments of Elturgardian soldiers. And she makes a hand gesture to have you come in.
I step forward with Reya. I extend my hand. I say, my name is Ofelia Liadon. It is a pleasure to meet you. Thank you for letting us in.
She sort of nods and wipes a sweat-laden lock of hair out of her eyes and says, Yes, of course, yes, please, enter all of you, quickly just before. We need to close the barricade.
Yes, everybody come in.
As soon as we're on the other side, I will help them put the barricade back in place.
Make a athletics check.
Give myself guidance.
Corbin will help too, since he's got a big bugbear body.
Then you'll have advantage.
With guidance and advantage, that is a 21.
Okay, yeah, you're able to move this barricade, mostly by yourself, to be perfectly honest, back into place, and the guards sort of look at you. They nod at you, they nod at each other. Even with the horns, they seem to be accepting you.
I say, I believe Seltern belongs to you?
Oh, Seltern, where have you been? And he looks over at this woman and says, Pherria, I'm sorry. I hid as best I could. My entire detail was destroyed by those fiends. I understand, Seltern, but the least you could have done was to return to us. But I am happy to see you. Did you find him? No, I'm sorry, Pherria. I don't believe that he is back.
Who is it that you're looking for?
Well, Alder Ravengard, of course. He has not yet returned.
When did he leave?
The time is strange to fathom here, but it feels like perhaps, I don't know, hours, a day, perhaps, at most.
Why did he leave? What's he looking for?
Let me first have you settle in and take a well-deserved rest if you've made it here. I can only assume that you were stuck in the city as well and found yourself in this place.
Oh, yes. Been ages since we've been able to rest.
I say, no, that isn't exactly true. We weren't taken to Avernus when Elturel was. We've only just recently arrived. This day, in fact. We learned of what happened to the city, and we came to try to help.
You came to help Elturel come back from this infernal place?
We did?
Yes.
Both Seltern and this woman, Pherria, as she is called, look at you with a look of incredulousness on their face. And some of the people that you see who have been, many of them cowering behind alcoves, and some of them are behind rather large sarcophagi. You can only imagine that this is some kind of crypt as well. Their eyes are red and their cheeks are stained with tears as if they've been absolutely devastated by what has happened. Look up at you all with something that you haven't seen in the faces of many people in quite a while, and that is hope. And Seltern and Pherria look at each other, and Pherria takes from behind her back something that has been chained to her by a long golden chain fastened to her belt. And she has, and presents to you, a large leather-bound tome. She presents it and says, "Then I guess you'll know what this is." And Reya gasps. She says, You? Yes. I protected it when the city fell." And Reya moves forward towards this book like it is the most beautiful thing in her existence, and dares not to even touch it.
What is it?
What is it, Reya?
She says, "This is the tome of the Creed Resolute," as she turns to you with her eyes brimming with tears.
Do we know what that is?
Make a history check.
Corbin rolled a 5.
No for you, Corbin.
It looks like a book.
Hylan got a 9.
Reya, why don't you tell us about the tome?
It's a big book.
Wait. No, wait. We do know something about this. It's in my notes. This has to do with the puzzle box.
Yes.
Hang on. Okay, so
I love it when players refer to their notes.
So this is what happened. Thavius made everyone who lived in Elturel sign this oath that says they all have to protect it.
Mm-hmm.
And then contract that Thavius signed basically gave everyone who had signed the oath, like, that's why they all went to hell. I'm not saying this very well.
He basically sold all of their souls in exchange for the power that he received.
Everyone who signed this book, I think.
That is correct.
Does that mean they're all fighting on the side of, the monsters?
No. They got tricked.
It was against their will.
Oh.
It's why Elturel descended the way that it did.
Yeah.
That is correct. 100% correct, in fact. And because you've referred to your notes, I'm going to give you a DM's inspiration. Yeah, in fact, you sort of have this epiphany after consulting quickly on that piece of parchment.
It's all here in my terribly written notes in the back of this prayer book.
But this woman didn't know that. We just told her. Did you say that out loud?
I sort of think I did kind of ineloquently say that. Yeah, because if I was explaining it to everyone here, then she's there.
I think this would be quite shocking to her to find out.
It may or may not be at this point, though.
Avius Krieg is the top name on it.
Mm-hmm.
You notice that all of the signatures are written in the same hand.
Mm-hmm.
As if magically imprinted upon the Creed Resolute when you swear the oath.
Mm-hmm.
Creed Resolute says, "By the light of the companion that freed Elturel from the darkness, I do swear to defend the city of Elturel and its people, body and soul, from the darkness within and the darkness without. I hereby resolutely swear to and affirm this creed of the nation of Elturgard."
When the night is darkest, I will be resolute and carry the light of Elturel in my heart and shine it forth in my actions. Like the light of the companion, I will be unwavering in my resolve to defend my city, my land, and all good people from the evil that dwells in darkness.
As we look to the golden orb that shines above us for guidance when darkness falls, so will be a light for my fellows and guide them towards the justice and safety of our High Overseer. The light of the companion shines upon all beings and upon all faiths with equal brilliance, and no religion, faith, race, or creed shall be denied the warmth of the companion's golden light.
As long as I live and the light of the companion shines upon me, I will faithfully and resolutely serve the laws of Elturgard and the wisdom of the High Overseer. May the light we bring into the world through our faithful service drive back any and all invading hordes. This I swear, body and soul.
This is how he got them. They all swore to obey his wisdom.
As you all read this document, which is the first page of many, many signatures that have been magically written into the creed, you realize that all of the Elturgardian citizens and all of the Hell Riders, including your friend Reya Mantlemourn, have been deceived and have been tricked and trapped and are now here facing a 50-year-long ruse that have brought them now into the hands of the Archdevil Zariel. And their fate is in your hands. The woman before you, Pherria Jynks, upon hearing that Thavius Krieg has deceived the people of Elturel and that it is his design that has brought them all here, gasps in disbelief. But after Reya explains the situation and the history that you have had with her over the course of the next few minutes, she begrudgingly begins to believe it, and then turns to you and says, well, we will take any and all that we can, the children, the citizens, Reya, of course, if she deigns to stay with us. You all, of course, as well.
Duke Ravengard, I'm guessing he didn't know about this, about what Krieg did.
No, of course not.
Where's he gone?
Grand Duke Ravengard took a group of guards to the city's grand cemetery. As you can plainly see, we are absolutely infested with devils, and the demons below war against the devils. Once the city is pulled down into the lowest reaches of this plane, we are doomed. And so, Duke Ravengard was told by some of the seers here that there existed a holy relic in the cemetery chapel called the Helm of Torm's Sight, which might provide some awareness into Elturel's dire circumstances and maybe even possible salvation. And he has not yet returned.
Sister Pherria, we've got to turn these survivors over to you. And then I think we'd better take your advice and gather our strength. Then Ofelia, Hylan, Corbin, Reya, Lulu, if you think it's right, maybe we should do as Ofelia suggested, poke around here just a bit, see if we find anything that might help us, but not take too long, because I think we'd better go and find the Duke.
Yes.
Agreed.
If that is your choice, yes, I would greatly appreciate it that you would go as quickly as possible to the cemetery if you have the ability to search for the Duke and his retinue.
We will do what we can.
Yes, we can't do it right away. We've got to recover first.
Of course, no, I don't mean to rush you. Please take as much of a rest as you need.
Do you need any assistance?
We need as much help as we can get, but I believe for now we will survive. And she points her hand back towards the dozens of Elturgardian citizens huddled there. She says, we have water, and she points to 2 fonts filled with pure, clear water. She says, holy water, of course, but still viable for drinking. And some food, some rations, and perhaps the willingness to see this all through.
You're incredibly brave and resourceful to have made it this far.
We appreciate the sanctuary you have created for others.
I believe you'll make it.
Yes, I too believe that you will survive.
Well, one would hope, at least for now. But I speak too much, please. Take your well-deserved rest, and we will speak soon. And she walks away.
Well, I think it's time for a long rest, folks.
Yep.
We try to move into like a quiet corner of the crypt, I guess.
Absolutely, yeah. Any alcove that you choose.
Once we huddle into the alcove, Renascence will unwind the silver thread from around his dreidel, draw the thread out, and form a cube around us. The thread just sort of hangs in the air as he dispenses it and forms like a box that we're inside of. And as he creates the cube, he says, I'm the Watcher. Threats I face are cunning, powerful, and subversive. I'll be ever alert for their corruption. I'm the Shield. Never accept gifts or favors from fiends or those who truck with them. Stay true to your order, your comrades, and your duty. I'm the Sword. My blade must be forever sharp, my mind keen to survive what lies beyond. And I will cast Alarm.
Awesome.
Corbin would like to go into a different little alcove, and he's going to call over the children. And if there's any others, he can bring up to 9 children in with him, and he'll say, "In here, we're going to be safe for the night." And he is going to pray to Ilmater for 10 minutes, and the alcove's almost going to disappear as the outside of it becomes stone. And he's going to invite the children in, and then they can all sleep in the safety of Liamon's tiny hut.
Nice.
Very nice.
The greatest of huts.
It is.
Mm-hmm.
Corbin's tiny hut.
Oh.
The children sleep soundly. Lulu sort of flies in a little bit of a circular pattern and then settles down into the midst of them. And you just see her trunk sort of curl up in a little bit of a curly Q, and her wings tuck behind her. And she smiles as she herself as well falls asleep in the middle of this giant circle of children. What about you, Ofelia?
Ofelia, I think, will take a moment to just find a little corner of her own, not too far from her friends, just with enough space where she can be alone with her thoughts. And as she does sometimes when she's feeling overwhelmed, just sings herself to sleep.
And lastly, Hylan.
I hear the sound of Ofelia singing quietly, and I see Renascence next to me, and I see his silver thread protecting us, and I say a little prayer, and I just say, Bahamut, thank you. Thank you for sending these brave, kind people on this quest with me. Thank you for everything you've given me. I will use it all to help these people. I'm going to go to sleep.
As you all lay down, take your well-deserved rest, we see Reya, who is now once again among her people, and her back is up against one of the large marble walls of this catacomb, and she reaches back and undoes the ribbon that has tied her hair back this entire time. And she just takes her hair and shakes it out, and we see that it's very long and stretches down to the middle of her back. And she takes her sword, she unbuckles it from her waist, and she presses it to her head as if almost ritually thanking it for the service that it's done. And she nods across the way at Pherria and at all the people who are depending upon her and upon you, and almost to herself. She says, I am resolute. She closes her eyes and drifts off to sleep.
Yeah.
Level 9. Level 9.
I don't know how you could jump like 3 levels, but
Magic.
By believing. From believing.
mean,
your
yes.
belief in yourself and in your friends has granted you a level 6.
Yay!
Awesome.
I'll take it.
Hey.
Yay.
Hello, everybody. The show will be back shortly for the second half. Have you ever wanted to discover a secret headquarters underneath a ruined temple in hell, just like our adventurers did in this episode? Well, our professional dungeon masters are available to hire for online games. Check us out at cast-party.com and follow us on Facebook at castpartydnd, on Twitter at castparty2, or on Instagram at cast_party. As always, we're offering monthly free online adventures with our Dungeon Masters. These free games fill up quickly, so if you'd like to grab a spot, you should join our email list or our Discord server. Links to both can be found at cast-party.com. If you enjoy Podcast Party, please follow the show, rate us, and leave us a review. We'd love to hear from you. Message us on social media or email us at info@cast-party.com. Hey, where's the plug about, the merch and the cool kids are wearing? Kind of like making fun of that one. Anyway, thanks very much for listening. And now back to our adventure in Avernus.
I'd like all of you to please roll a wisdom saving throw.
Oh, great.
Does this happen while we are taking the long rest?
Yes.
Even in the tiny hut, I have to make a saving throw?
Yes.
Hylan got a 20.
Renascence got a 27.
And Corbin got a 21.
Ofelia got a 12.
I would like each of you to tell me what it is you may dream about. Good, bad, or indifferent.
Corbin would probably dream about the two things he fears the most. That fucking coin in his pouch and Sister Painbearer Averlie Hahlo. So if she found that coin, that would probably be what would be in most of his dreams.
Corbin, you imagine yourself during this time of convalescence in a very spacious, very well-furnished hall. There are people milling to and fro. They are drinking, they are eating, they seem very happy with one another, and you are amongst them. And they smile at you, they nod at you. It's a very strange experience having this kind of attention, and not the attention that you, as a bugbear, unfortunately, throughout most of your life, have been subject to. You feel somewhat energized by this, that things may turn out okay if this is the signs of things to come. And then you hear it. Ting. Ting. Ting.
What is it?
You turn around and you see, flipping through the air over the crowd, a metal disc, and it's one that you recognize. It is the soul coin, and it is flipping up with a ting. And then when it lands, you hear the sound of it being caught by someone. And immediately after, ting, flipping over and over, and slowly, inexorably, through the crowd, coming through to you. The crowd parts as if it were stirred by something, and all these people move off to the sides, and you see the person who has been flipping this coin. It is Painbearer Averlie Hahlo, and she catches it just as she's 6 feet from you, and she smiles at you, her glowing white eyes looking at you with a look of combination of pity and disgust. And she looks at you and she looks down at the coin, and she says, "You're weak, Corbin. You've always been weak. Do you want this?" And she holds out the coin to you.
Corbin tries to reach out for it, but his long bugbear arms are incredibly heavy, and it takes all of his strength to try to reach out even with one arm. He tries to support his right arm with his left arm just to get his arm out, and he tries to not grab it, but smack it out of her hand.
You attempt to do so, and the coin, almost magnetically, flies through the air and lands in your palm. And you hear a hissing sound, and you feel a burning sensation in your hand as the coin begins to burn your flesh. You can't do anything about it. You try to shake the coin out of your hand. You run around screaming, and you hear the entire crowd laughing at you and chortling as this pain becomes immeasurably intense. And you're able to finally grab the coin and pull it out of your palm, and you see, burned into the white of your palm, a letter in Infernal, and it is the letter C. And then you wake up.
Stupid dream. I hate it. I hate it.
I check to see if the coin's still in my little purse there.
Yeah, you take a look through your belongings and you find the coin is still there.
And my palm is not burned with the letter C.
No, it is not. But the pain is still there from the dream.
I scratch at it, trying to make it go away.
Hylan, what do you think Hylan dreams of?
I think on this night she is dreaming of being on horseback right in the middle of Worm's Crossing, and behind her is Baldur's Gate, and in front of her is Avernus. And She doesn't want to go there, but it isn't as clear and personal as it is now. She hasn't remembered yet why she doesn't want to go there. She just has a strong urge not to, but she feels like she has to. And right when she's about to turn back, she sees Nell sitting on the bridge, splitting the distance between her and the threshold to Avernus.
Nell, your wonderful pet, looks up at you, and you can tell something's wrong. There is no one on Worm's Crossing, which is even weirder, because Worm's Crossing is usually rife with people. The bridge is empty. There's just you, and Nell, and the hell of whatever comes next.
Okay, if she looks agitated, I will ride up to her and dismount and lean down and talk to her and say, Nell, are you okay? I don't think you should go there. It's too dangerous.
Nell looks in the direction of the hellish plains of Avernus and looks back at you. And Nell crouches down on her hind legs and sort of stands almost with her forepaws in the air and almost sort of swims through the air, trying to maybe intimate that she wants to be picked up.
Oh, okay. And I'll pick her up. I said, I thought I told you to stay. I would come back for you. You're safe at home.
Sort of take Nell and hold her out in front of you. And then Nell's jaw falls off. And then her bottom legs fall off.
What?
And then her body starts to fall apart like a doll's, just seams ripping. And out from inside of Nell, you just see insects. Hundreds and hundreds of insects squirming and writhing over your fingers and onto your arms.
And I'm like trying to yell, but no sound is coming out.
And then you wake up in a cold sweat.
No. I look around to see if I disturbed anybody. And if I didn't, I'm going to see where Renascence is, and if I can, I'm going to slightly edge closer to where he's sleeping and then try to go back to sleep.
Ofelia, what subject matter do you wish to have in your dreams?
I think it is the classic artist's nightmare. Ofelia is on a stage with her violin, and she lifts it to her chin. She lifts the bow up to her face, and she looks at the sheet music in front of her on the music stand, and the notes all seem to blur together, and the language is one she can't read or understand. She looks up at the audience, and one moment it's full of her old classmates at her Bardic University. Then she blinks again, and her parents are there. She blinks again, and it's a sea of Azores. She blinks again, and it's just Dr. Hulk-Thinster sitting right in the middle all by himself. She picks her bow up to try to play and opens her mouth to try to sing. What happens next, Matt?
The sound that comes out of Ophelia's mouth is not a song at all. It is that same scream uttered by you when you utilized your talents to throw Dr. Hulk-Thinster out the stained glass window at the hospital. And it's shrill and high-pitched, not your own voice really at all. And the entire audience is just in the throes of fits of laughter, pointing at you, throwing things at you, and you hear above you a creak.
Above me, like the ceiling above me?
On the stage.
On the stage above me. She stops playing, and she tries to walk down off the stage into the wings.
As you walk into the wings, the creak above you seems to follow you like footsteps on a wooden platform.
She runs to the dressing room.
You run to the nearest door. You turn the doorknob. It doesn't open.
She runs to the next door, trying to find any exit.
That one is as well, not open. Locked.
She starts banging on the closest door, trying to kick it down, trying to break it open.
The creaking footsteps are getting closer. They seem to be coming down a stairwell from the gangway above you. And you hear a mocking, low voice. Ofelia, it's time to pay the piper. What do you do?
I don't know. It's scary. It's real scary, Matt. I was so in the moment appreciating. Sorry, give me a second. It's so good. Breathe. Ofelia dashes out into the audience, into the crowd.
You run back onto stage and you jump into the crowd. There are screams, and the crowd, almost as if the force of your jump has made a dent, a divot in this scene, and you find that the floor is starting to collapse. And as it collapses, all of the people are falling in on you like rotten wood, and they're covering over you. And you hear the screams and laughter. They're all mixing together and smothering you. And over it all, you hear that same mocking voice. Ofelia, I'm coming for you.
She screams.
And then you wake up.
I think she wakes up screaming for real.
Okay.
This time.
Yeah, that's terrifying.
Yeah.
They're coming to get you, Barbara. Sorry.
No, it was very...
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
I don't know if that wakes anyone else up, but yeah, she sits up, bolt upright.
Yeah.
Screaming, and that is how she wakes.
You look around, a couple of other people sort of like rub their eyes, look over at you, like one of the guards, a couple of commoners look over at you, and then they sort of just shake their head, and they don't even ask you how you are, almost as if they know what's going on.
Yeah.
Are you near me, or did you go off by yourself?
I think I probably would have stayed near my friends.
You're relatively close by from what I see.
Okay, I think I would just half asleep, kind of shuffle over there because I will understand what's happening, and go next to you, Ofelia, and hold your hand, see if you feel like that's okay, and then I'll just go to sleep holding your hand.
Ofelia does not go back to sleep. She just sits there staring at Hylan's hand for a very long time.
And finally, Renascence.
Renascence dreams that he is a teenager back with his brother Thomas, and they are in Insight Park, which is one of the few green spaces in the lower city. It's in the neighborhood where Thomas and Garen grew up before they were taken in. It's called Brampton. It's the far east side of Baldur's Gate. And Thomas and Garen are the head of a little crew, like a street gang of other teenagers. All the other members are younger than us, and they're all human. We're the only two tieflings. And we didn't have the abilities that either of us would develop a little later in life, but we did have that thaumaturgy power that all tieflings are born with. And between that and Renascence being strong and Thomas being smart and us being tieflings, the other kids in the crew were a little bit in awe of us. So what we used to do in Insight Park was Insight Park's like a gathering place for amateur and professional philosophers. And also there was some gambling and playing of games like Dragon Chess and Three Dragon Ante. They'd play in the park. And somehow Thomas could always see 3 moves ahead. So every week we'd go down there and he'd beat a bunch of these old geezers at these games because he always knew which dragon the pebble was under, and he could always outthink them at chess. So we'd take money off them. His job was to win all the games, and my job was, if any of them got fussy about him winning all the games, I would take care of them. And I had that dreidel thing that he'd just made for me a few days earlier, and I was learning how to use it. And we was doing well. It was a nice, bright, sunny afternoon, and we had some silver in our pockets because he'd already won a few games. And he
picked up the dragon, one of the 3 dragons. I think he picked up the blue one in the middle. And it was the first time that he was ever wrong, because the pebble wasn't there. And he dropped the dragon, and it was ceramic, and it broke on the stones under the table. And he turned around and looked at me, and it was like he wasn't seeing me at all. And he just started screaming about devils and demons and how they were reaching out a big hand for him, like a crack opened up in the ground, and a big red hand was reaching out of it, and the city was being dragged down into hell, and the sky was full of things with wings and claws and fangs, and that was the day it all went wrong. And that was the first night I took him to Cliffgate Hospital, and he never came out until a week ago, when I asked them to take him to Candlekeep.
I don't think there's very much to add to that.
I will say, and I'm going to do this only because Renascence happened to get a natural 20 on this wisdom saving throw.
Yeah.
For a total of 27, that maybe he realizes it's a dream.
Yeah.
In the middle of the dream. And as all of this, sort of the worst day of his life, is unfolding around him, inside the dream, he closes his eyes and he says, "I am the Watcher. The enemy is powerful, cunning, deceptive. I will be vigilant in the face of corruption. I'm the shield. I'll protect mortals from the endless terrors that lie behind the stars. I'm the sword. I keep my blade sharp and my mind keen to survive what lies beyond. I'm the will. I'll be true to my friends and comrades. I will never accept favors from fiends or those who traffic with them." And I wake up.
The 4 of you, having your own individual experiences that night, are able to take a long rest and, of course, as we said before, level yourselves up to level 6 with some new abilities and some new powers and some new spells that come with it. And the additional vim and vigor as well. Lulu and Reya are also awake. Lulu is flying to and fro amidst all the commoners, some of which seem to be a little standoffish. Others perhaps a little bit more accepting, maybe sort of feeling the aura of positive energy and goodness that she exhibits. Reya is a mess. She is slumped up against the wall. Her hair is in complete disarray. Her eyes are sunken. Her entire body language screams something is wrong. And she stands up and she almost sort of has to hold herself up against the wall. She takes in a deep breath, just takes note of her surroundings, swallows, pulls her sword out, checks it, puts it back in its scabbard, and says, "Well, I guess it's time, right?"
I guess it is.
Are you all right?
No, I'm not. I'm really not, but that doesn't matter.
You need healing?
No, I don't, but thank you.
Well, it's the worst night's sleep I ever had.
Reya, you're a Hell Rider. Now you're a real Hell Rider, yeah? Like the ones in the stories.
She sort of chuckles to herself. I don't think so.
Well, you have to be. For all them kids and the Mother Elder Guardians, all counting on us.
Maybe they'll write a story about you, Reya.
I don't want any stories written about me. I just want to go home.
It's the people that don't want to end up in stories that tend to end up in stories.
She looks at you, Renascence, and she says, "I don't give a fuck about the stories, Renascence. I
smile and I say, "You said fuck."
She sort of looks at you, blinks twice, and she says, "Oh,
I'm very proud of you.
We're finally rubbing off on you."
Yeah, she's one of us now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Listen, I had a lovely night. Not sure about everyone else. I think before
My night was shit.
Yeah, I was being facetious, Corbin. I had a fucking terrible night as well. I think before we set out to look for Duke Ravengard,
might be worth poking around these crypts just a little bit, see if there's anything else useful like what Ofelia found yesterday.
Yes, I think so.
Yes.
I agree, but Ren, could you do me a favor? I got to talk to you private, though.
Yeah, of course.
So I'll take Ren off to like a little side area and say, look, for some reason, I don't know why, Ilmata's given me like power to do things, but I need something, and I was wondering if you could ask the fancy lady here if maybe they had that thing. I'd even pay for it if you would. Would you ask for me so I could do this spell that could, like save people's lives? Do you think you could ask for me?
Won't hurt to ask. What is it you need?
It's not for me. I'm not being greedy, but I need diamonds. I know that sounds crazy, but if I had enough diamonds and someone died, I think I could save them, keep their soul in their body and bring them back. But I can't do it without diamonds. I don't know why Ilmata needs diamonds, but
well,
I just thought it better you ask than a bugbear,
I don't know anything about it, Corbin, but if that's what Ilmata wants, then yeah, we better get it for him. The worst Pherria can say is no, right?
Right, but sometimes when people run and hide, they take their valuables, because I don't know what they're going to do with it here, but there might be some.
I'll tell you what, I'll ask her also, if they ain't got any, maybe they know somewhere else in the city where we might be able to find some.
That's why you're the smartest person I know. I didn't think of that.
All right, you get the others ready, and I'll go and have a word with Pherria.
All right.
Okay, so I will look for her.
Yeah, she's down by the font of holy water. She's checking the pH level. No, I'm just kidding. She's I don't even know what they do with holy water fonts. She's she's probably putting it in some kind of receptacles or maybe bottles or something like that, and she's stacking them up and she's doling them out to the guards. And she says, "Now, we don't have a whole lot here in the pool, but fiends don't react well to these, as you very well know. So if swords like the ones that you have don't work too well, then maybe... Oh, hello." And she looks over at you.
Good morning, sister.
Yes, good morning, as it is.
Renascence, I point to myself.
Right. Renascence, yes. Hello, Renascence.
Hello. We was planning to head out pretty soon to look for the Grand Duke. We thought we might explore the crypts just a bit before heading out, although we don't want to waste too much time. You said he was exploring the cemetery, is that right?
That's correct. He said he was heading out to the Grand Cemetery. He mentioned something that he had found in his research, that there might be something in the cemetery that would be potentially useful, that there was some kind of holy icon. I don't really have very much information about it. He said it was called the Helm of Torm's Sight. Now...
Sorry, sister, I'm just writing that down in my notes.
That is an interesting notebook. I didn't see you have that before.
Yeah, because I don't remember the names of everything unless I write down Helm of Torm's Sight. Sorry, go on.
No, that's quite all right. Anywho, yes, Elder Ravengard took some guards with him to the cemetery. It's on the city's far western side. He thought that this helm might somehow aid us in defending the city against the hordes of devils and potentially demons that are all raging in the valley below.
Well, if Duke Ravengard or the helm are out there, we'll bring him back here to Highhall. Favor to ask. Actually, it's on behalf of my friend Corbin. He's a Painbearer of Ilmata.
Oh, peace be with him.
And he says that there's something that he can do using the power of Ilmata to reunite souls with bodies. You're a priest yourself, so you might know a bit more about this than me. But he says to do it, he needs diamonds?
Yes, I understand what your clerical... not clerical. That's completely something different. That's your...
Your accountant's friend.
Yes, your accountant's friend.
Hey, careful.
It really is. Oh my God. I get it. Now I get it. Now I knew why he picks this character class. I get it. Now it makes a lot of sense. She says, no, I understand why your friend over there may have a predilection towards this particular ability. It is a power granted us by our divine patrons to raise the dead if they have died in a short period of time. It does require a certain amount of diamonds in order to perform this magical ability, this spell.
He's wondering if you or one of the others might have taken some diamonds with you when you fled here to Hahlo.
Oh, unfortunately, no.
Can you think of any place else in Elturel where we might find some diamonds? In Baldur's Gate, we have the upper city, where sort of, we call them patriarchs, like the posh folk live. They have diamonds, or maybe a jeweler's district.
There are potentially shops along the Greenway to the north, but it may be too dangerous considering the adversaries around us.
Got it. Well, should anyone arrive with some, or should anything come to mind about where we could secure some for Corbin, please do let us know.
Certainly. I will keep you in mind.
Right. Good luck to you, Pherria. We may not return to this hall after we scout some of the nearby chambers, so in case we don't see you again, good luck.
I do hope to see you again, of course, with Ravenguard.
Yes, but maybe not before then.
I see.
I'm going to just wander up there and say, what is that water for?
She says it's one of the only things that we have left of value, it seems, anymore. It's a weapon against fiends and powerful undead creatures. It's the purest and most holy water of Torm.
I wonder if there's something we could trade you that you would value for some of that. We don't have any.
If you wish to take some with you in your travels, please. It is yours for the taking if you wish. And she offers each of you a canteen of holy water.
Thank you. I very much appreciate it. It's very kind of you to share it with us. We'll
Thank you, sister.
use it to find older Ravenguard for you.
Thank you.
Matt, holy water for me is a spell component whenever I cast Bless, but I only need a sprinkle.
Mm-hmm.
So from this point, I'm just going to use, a tiny bit each time, but I'm going to assume that this is the source of that.
Perfect.
Rather than ever using the whole bottle to do anything.
Wonderful.
Okay. I actually also had already a flask of holy water. It came with my Monster Hunters kit.
Cool.
So now I have 2 flasks. So just so everybody knows,
Okay.
we got one extra than you might have thought.
Great.
So I think if everyone agrees, we should take Reya and Lulu and just explore some of the other areas of this crypt, like where Ofelia found the healing potion. Like there could be some other stuff that would be very helpful.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I think it's worth checking.
Do we want to go look at that sword with that, that dead dragon slayer person?
We could look at it, but I feel like fiends ain't coming down here. And something tells me that might be why.
We should not take it.
You want me to ask Ilmata? It would take me about 10 minutes.
Yeah, I didn't realize. Yeah.
I don't know if he'll answer, but I could try.
I suppose it's worth trying.
All right, so Corbin will sit down. He'll roll out that carpet of Avernus he has, or that tapestry, and he'll turn it upside down so it's facing down, and he'll sit on the bottom of it. And he will start ritually casting the spell Augury. And he has to use something of value. And you all watch as he pulls out 4 azurite gems, which we gathered along the way, and 4 Vanthamper electrum pieces. And as he starts praying, he asks Ilmata if, sorry to bother you, but would that sword with that dead hero, if we were to go and get it and maybe give it to Reya, because I think she'd be the right person, would this be a good thing to do or bad thing? I never talked to you before directly like this, and I'm sorry to bother you, but I think it could be important and it could really help us, and
maybe even help her.
And he's going to like throw them down and try to read or get some impression from them whether this is a good thing, a bad thing, or both.
Yeah, you take these small sort of gem sticks and coins and shake them around in your hand, and then speak these words in your mind, asking for weal, which means good results, or woe, which means bad results, or weal and woe for both good and bad results, or potentially nothing, which means results that are not good or bad for the answers to your question. You throw them down onto the carpet, and nothing happens. And you sort of stare at them for a second. And then slowly, the coins and the gem sticks begin to sort of slowly tumble into a heap and then fall into a specific arrangement that is a symbol. And it is a symbol that you recognize somehow. It's not in any language that you know, but it is a symbol for woe. Bad results.
All right. Thank you, Wilmota. Thank you. Trying to do what's right here. Trying.
And I gather my stuff up and put it all away and just look at everyone and shake my head.
Let's leave that be. Let's not touch it, all right?
Yes.
Thank you for doing that, Corbin.
You're welcome.
Ofelia, did you paint these? I point at my breastplate, and there's the large central eye and shield and sword that Ofelia painted at the elf song. And there are now 4 identical eyes, like one at each corner of the breastplate, that look just like the one that Ofelia painted.
Well, I don't remember doing that.
Renascence runs his finger over one of them. He says, well, that's another question to be answered, I suppose.
I suppose.
So Renascence can't explain that, but I will tell you that in mechanical terms, Renascence now has the aura of protection. Any ally at any time standing within 10 feet of Renascence can add a +3 to any saving throw.
Excellent.
Nice.
Awesome.
Please remind us of that because we're going to forget.
Yes.
Oh,
no,
yeah.
definitely.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it's good to feel our best if we're heading out into hell, and I'm just gonna ping pong, boom, 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 and give everyone a shower, basically. Everyone feels
Love that.
good as new.
You know I don't like this.
I'm slowly getting used to it, Corbin. I think you might come around.
No.
Okay, I add a little bit on Corbin. I just add a little bit of rat nest.
There we go. Oh, wait, I don't like rats.
Well,
The new
Remember?
fragrance from Calvin Klein, Rat Nest.
Go for sewer. I like
all
sewer.
right, bing, sewer.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks for listening. This episode featured the Dungeon Master stylings of Matt Gordon with Tal Aviezer as Renascence, Carolyn Fox as Hylan, Rachel Tamarin as Ofelia, and me, Andy Cannistra, as,
Painbearer, Corbin, Shiv, whatnot. All right.
This episode was edited by Carolyn Fox and Tal Aviezer. Our original theme music is by Lauren Anker and Anthony Damaso. Some sound effects in this episode are courtesy of Sirenscape. Remember, if you enjoyed Podcast Party, please follow the show, rate us, and leave us a review. Thanks very much for listening. We'll be back in 2 weeks with the next episode.
All right. Now we're cooking with gas.